Dear Diary, since we got bundled out of the Champions League by dodgy old Real Madrid, we secured a comfortable 3-0 win against Sheffield United, keeping us in the hunt for the Premier League title. Today, we face a tough challenge as we take on West Ham, who are currently sitting in third place on the table. A win here at home could see us close the gap on league leaders Liverpool to just 1 point after they dropped points at Watford on the last match day. But that's not all. We also have an FA Cup quarter-final match at home against Barnsley from the Championship. This match has an added layer of intrigue as Barnsley is managed by none other than Arsenal icon Steve Bull. Will he be able to pull off an upset against his former club, or will we advance to the semi-finals and try to secure a domestic cup double? Until next time. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 92 of FMOE here on Shaun Does FM with Arsenal. I hope you are doing well, and coming up today we start to focus solely on domestic competitions after Real Madrid did knock us out of the Champions League at the end of last week. First up, what could be quite a big matchup in the Premier League as we take on West Ham, currently in third place at home, and then off the back of that we should be making our way through to the final four of the FA Cup as we take on Barnsley from the Championship in the quarterfinals of that competition. So if you are looking forward to today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But as you would have seen through the intro, we've just played that one game since the episode at the end of last week. If you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. We did take on Manchester United in the EFL Cup final, picked up a 1-0 win there, but then a 1-1 draw at home against Real Madrid in the second leg of the Champions League round of 16 does mean we got knocked out of that competition. So there's two for us left to try and win here at Arsenal for the rest of this season and maybe pick up a domestic treble. And this next game against West Ham is probably our toughest one left in the season based solely on league position. Earlier this season, West Ham actually beat us at London Stadium. That was largely thanks, though, to two big errors in goal from Aaron Ramsdale. But hopefully back at home, off the back of a 3-0 win over Sheffield United, we can pick up 3 points here. And hopefully we do, because a big chance for us here to close the gap on Liverpool, as you also would have seen through that intro. They surprisingly dropped points to Watford away from home on their last match day, so we can close the gap to only 1 point with a win here. Also put a decent gap on West Ham down in third as well, can stretch that out to 11 points, albeit to be fair, we are already qualified for the Conference League thanks to that win in the EFL Cup, and do look quite safe for a spot in the Champions League for next season. But as I said, hopefully get a little bit of revenge on West Ham for earlier in the season here at the Emirates. Some other updates since the last episode. There's a few injuries floating around here at Arsenal at the moment, unfortunately, so we need to update you guys on those before this first game of today's episode. So current injuries, Martin Odegaard, a twisted knee. He is going to be out for 3 to 7 days, so hopefully he might be back for that second game of today's episode. That one does happen to fall right before an international break. Then we've got Yannier Grass, broken ribs. He is out until the middle of April, so that is our third choice right back out for a little while. Couple that with the fact that Wilfred Singo has a hamstring strain and is going to be out till the end of the month. It does mean that if Tomiyasu picks up an injury or suspension, we could be in a little bit of trouble. And also, of course, Bukayo Saka, he is injured. He got injured, of course, during the second leg against Real Madrid at the end of last week. He will be out for a further 3 to 5 weeks. We'll come back around about the start of April, hopefully not too far off the back of the break that we do have coming up off the back of that FA Cup quarterfinal. So it does mean we are going to have to change our team a little bit for these games in today's episode, albeit we might have had to put our rotated team against Barnsley anyway, just to keep some of our players happy. But hopefully first up today, we get the job done in the Premier League and can close that gap on Liverpool. Also, Bamba, one of our centre-backs, one of our first choice ones alongside Saliba, currently on holiday, which does mean he will miss the first game of today's episode as well. So missing quite a few players in defence for this big clash in the Premier League, but hopefully we can still pick up a good result. Also, we do have our youth intake trial off the back of this game, and before that Barnsley one. We're going to update you guys on that halfway through today's episode and show you guys the players who we are going to sign from that. It's an okay intake for a club like Arsenal, but first up, hopefully we can close that gap on Liverpool as we take on West Ham in a bit of a London derby in the Premier League. And here are the team sheets for this first game of today's episode. One notable addition that I did forget to mention earlier, Koopmeiners is back alongside Perret in that midfield, but Kamara comes in for Bamba. We have got Vieira in the cam role for the injured Ødegaard and also Carvalho for Saka, but apart from that, full strength, so we're not too bad off, just 3 players missing from our usual first choice. There were West Ham. They beat us earlier this season. Hopefully this time we can get some revenge and close that gap on Liverpool at the top of the table. And just past the 15-minute mark, we do have a corner to start off this game. So far, the stats have been in our favour. We put this one far post, but Izzy will head that one away. Koopmeiners flicks that one back into the mix, and Martinelli there with a shot on the bounce, but unfortunately, that one goes over the bar. So still 0-0 coming up to the 20-minute mark. And that was the sole highlight of that first half. We go into the sheds locked up at 0-0. As you can tell by the stats, we've certainly been the better team. 8 shots to 1, higher XG, but just 1 shot on target, and obviously not a very good one. Our XG not that high, so certainly some room for improvement in the second half in terms of the shooting. Also, Kieran Tierney has picked up a yellow card, so we'll take him off for Yakubu, but hoping for a bit more going forward in the second half. More shots on target will get things back underway. Still 0-0. And it's only taken 5 minutes in the second half for a highlight. Hopefully we get something going on early. Again, they clear that one from the far post, but Koopmeiners, back from his injury, controls it, plays that out to Vieira, squares it nicely for Carvalho. We'll just wait here for the VAR check. I do suspect Vieira might have been offside after taking that corner. Hopefully not the case, but that is what it looked like. Otherwise, we might steal a lead here a few minutes in to the second half, but unfortunately, indeed, he was offside. As we suspected, Koopmeiners looked for him. He was in a ton of space, but unfortunately was sitting in line with Jesus. Is still 0-0 early in the second half. And just past the hour mark, we're going to make a few substitutions in this one, take off some players on poor ratings. Gabriel Jesus at the moment not in good form, so Barrea will come on for him. Also, Carvalho a 6.5. Trincao can go outright for the rest of this game, and Saliba on a 6.4 will bring on Balakotchat for him and move Kamara to the ball-playing defender role, but not ideal yet, still not found the back of the net legally. 0-0 with 25 minutes left. And with around about 15 minutes to go in this one, still just that one highlight in the second half, which was that offside goal. We're going to make our last substitution, Tomiyasu on a red heart, our only fit right back. So we're going to bring on the former Crystal Palace loanee in Vaskovic for him. Also just trying up the tempo and put a few more players on attacking duty for these last 15 minutes and hopefully grab a winner against West Ham. And we've just entered injury time this game. There's going to be 5 minutes of it, and we have a throw in here inside of the opposition half. Martinelli with a header to the far post, but unfortunately Seaman, an appropriate name here for a game at Arsenal. He makes a fairly safe save. He's going to clear this one as well. It does look like this highlight might continue. Balakotchat wins that now. Perret starts to play a ball over the top for Martinelli. Quite a good one as well. What can he do? Squares that for Trincao. Unleashes a shot, but yet again Seaman with a good save. And that might keep this to a 0-0 draw. And that will be frustrating because stats-wise, certainly the better team. And we might miss the chance here to close the gap on Liverpool, albeit against the team third on the table. It's probably not that bad of a result in isolation, but look at those stats. Just feels like a game that we should have won, but unfortunately it was not the case. Might even have to drop Jesus for Barrea soon because he's definitely the striker in better form. We might have to try that out in the FA Cup quarterfinals, albeit against Barnsley. That might not be the biggest test, but not going to be happy with that result. We'll tell them that because we certainly were good value for more than a draw from that game. West Ham with only 2 shots, none on target, but unfortunately we don't make the most of Liverpool's slip up there away at Watford on that last match day. Don't make the most of that game in hand that we did have, and are still 3 points behind them after they did beat us late last week as we draw 0-0 at West Ham. We'll come back shortly and show you guys the players that we're going to sign from this year's youth intake. And we've gone forward a few days off the back of that 0-0 draw in the Premier League against West Ham. As I said, a frustrating result, but here are the youth candidates from this year's youth intake that we are likely to sign. There's a few more players down below who are recommended that we do sign, but they don't have that much potential, so we'll probably skip over them. But as you can see, we do have a few wingers, a right back, and some midfielders as well. But the three top talents coming through this year's youth intake. First up, Luka Vujovic. He is a Croatian goalkeeper, 1-star current ability, 4-star potential. Certainly has the potential to be useful for us. We'll see if he features throughout the rest of the save here at Arsenal. Obviously, with this being a journeyman save, the youth intakes not quite as key as they can be in a one-club save. Also, another right-wing option there in Stephen Okachukwu. He is English, 1-star current ability, also 4-star potential. And going down to the other player with that 4-star potential, Shaun Devaney. He is a left-back, that same current ability and potential. So those are the star graduates from this year's youth intake. They will be the three that we definitely sign. Also some below that, but with not that much potential. Don't know if they'll feature too much for us in the future, even if we get to a stage where they do make the first team. But those top three, the big additions from this year's youth intake. And going forward a few more clicks, we are about to take on Barnsley in the FA Cup quarterfinals in the second game of today's episode. Probably the thing of note for this game, apart from the fact that Barnsley are a team we should definitely be beating, currently 14th in the Championship, but they are managed by an Arsenal icon, according to the club info page. And Steve Baldy did used to work with the Arsenal unders as well as an assistant manager throughout the 2000s and the 2010s, and also played for the club between 1988 and 98. So a return to take on his former club might be the biggest interest factor for the media heading in to this game, but this should be one that we are capable of winning, albeit we are going to rotate our team quite heavily going into this one. Some of those first team players do need a rest, albeit Tomiyasu not one of those players, because we are very weak in that right back position at the moment. No players have come back from injury just yet. The only addition, Bamba on the bench, seeing as he has returned from his holiday for this one game before the players do head on an international break. But hopefully we can make our way through to the final four and try and keep our hopes alive of a domestic treble. The other quarterfinals, Burnley take on Spurs, West Ham take on Brentford, and Leicester take on Man City. So there's definitely four teams there you would expect to make their way through to the semi-finals. There could even be a North London derby in one of those, but this should be a game, in theory, actually looks like the easiest tie that we could have got in this round. So hopefully we make the most of that, and we'll come back shortly with the team sheet for this FA Cup quarterfinal as we take on Barnsley from the Championship. And here are the team sheets for this FA Cup quarterfinal. As we said before, a lot of rotation, just Koopmeiners, Kamara and Tomiyasu in from that previous game, but everywhere else there is a change. Taking on a team like Barnsley from the Championship should be okay with that, playing a 4-4-2, albeit they do have Luke Shaw at left back, which is a bit surprising, but still should be a team that we can beat and make our way through to the semis. And just short of the 5-minute mark, first highlight here, Kundal with an open goal, but thankfully one of our defenders did block that one at very short notice from when that highlight did start. That was the highlight. Bit of a weird one, but still 0-0 coming up towards the 10-minute mark, and now down the other end for a free kick. Kamara hits the post. That's a decent chance now for both teams, but still 0-0. 10 minutes into this FA Cup quarterfinal, and there's one more highlight here to start off this game. It's a throw inside the final third. Barrea tries to flick that one on for Trincao, but Bakayoko comes out to claim that for Barnsley. We'll pump this deep, looking for more up front, but thankfully Balakotchap does win that in the air. Trincao plays that all the way back to Maluccio in goal today. Balakotchap on the ball will pick out Yakubu. Some good passing here as we eventually start to make our way forward. Koopmeiners starts again, still coming back from injury. Barrea takes that around the goalkeeper. He still looks a little bit weird when he tries to finish off those shots, but nonetheless is actually putting the ball in the back of the net, which is more than we can say for Gabriel Jesus. I am so looking forward to Mbappe for next season, but Barrea gets us on the scoreline fairly early in this one, 1-0 up, just shy of the 15-minute mark. And only a few minutes off the back of that opener to us, we are now down the other end here. It is a throw-in for Barnsley, which Luke Shaw puts into the mixer. Thankfully, his ball, Yakubu can deal with. We pick out Beret here up front off the back of opening the scoring. Picks out Jan Pulak, does well there to keep position and find Tomiyasu. He starts in this backup team while Carvalho is in the first one, while Saka is injured. Sterling for Berea also gets a run with Erdegaard being out at the moment. Now Yakubu in space here down this left-hand side, and therefore Trincao. Now Patino plays that back for Koopmeiners, unleashes one that hits the post, and Berea bundles that over the line. I nearly tripped over my words there, but Berea does pick up a double. It's a bit sloppy from the centre-backs there in front of the goalkeeper from that Koopmeiners shot, and he grabs a quick-fire double and puts us 2-0 up. We grab a cushion goal. They definitely should have reacted quicker there than Berea did, but good work there from the former Real Madrid striker, and we have an early 2-goal cushion. And up to the 24-minute mark, it is a free kick here for Koopmeiners with some hand in that previous goal, which Berea did put over the line. He takes his time over this one, tries to put it top left corner, not far away, just high and wide, still 2-0 Arsenal. And shortly off the back of that free kick to Koopmeiners, now we have a throw in here inside the final third. Tomiyasu plays that one over the Koopmeiners, having a decent hand in this game so far. Starts to cut inside, unleashes one, and yet again, that one goes just wide, so it does remain 2-0 in our favour. And just shy of the 40-minute mark, we are on the attack yet again. Put the ball inside the box, albeit Barnsley do clear it away, but we get it back there through Tomiyasu. Patino does quite well there to keep that ball and does so again. Now Kamara is on it, plays it forward to Coop. He packs out Tomiyasu in a bit of space. We'll fire that one in for Manuel Balea, and he has a first half hat-trick. Certainly the form striker at the moment at the club, albeit does feel like that might be a little bit harsh on Jesus, as he is definitely playing against the stronger teams, but still, we might have to start him off the back of this upcoming international break, because he is in a lot better form. Berea grabs a first half hat-trick and puts us 3-0 up. And one more highlight here before half-time. It is a free kick in our favour, albeit inside our own half, and we spread this one out to the left-hand side. Trincao plays that back to Bella Kotchup, and Patino back out to the right-hand side where Kamara is sitting. We take our time here waiting for a gap to appear. I can see one down this left-hand side, but we don't take it. Kamara now has the ball, plays that over for Bella Kotchup. Now Yakubu no longer in quite as much space, but now finds someone, plays it forward to Trincao inside of the final third, now inside the box. What can he do? Squares that one for Haig. Sterling gets a lot of help there from a deflection and the inside of the post, but we'll take it. And already that should probably be game over, 4-0 here, as we're about to head into the sheds at halftime. It's been a very good performance. That hat-trick to Berea, and now Sterling with a goal. As you can see, goalkeeper expecting that shot to go elsewhere, takes a big deflection and gets that help from the inside of the post, but we'll take it. And that means we go into the sheds with a very comfortable 4-0 win. As you can tell, this time our statistical dominance is reflected on the scoreboard. We'll just check here at halftime and see if there are some players that we do need to give a rest to so they don't get injured before this international break. Unfortunately, our backup right back is also injury prone today in Saliba, so we'll leave Tomiyasu out there for now, but otherwise the players that play in that previous game can come off. Sambi Lokonga for Koopmeiners, and also Bamba back from holiday can come on for Kamara, but very happy with how that first half went. We'll get things back underway. 4-0 up and looking good for an FA Cup semi-final.
Yeah.
And up to the hour mark, we've got a serious injury. Unfortunately, it's a thigh one to Charlie Patino. It's not too bad because it is one of our backup players, but still not ideal. So it does mean Mamadou Gate will come on for him. We'll switch him around with Sambi Lokonga for this last half hour. Also, while we are here, might be a good idea to take off Takahiro Tomiyasu, as he is quite injury prone, and our only fit out and out right back, William Saliba, is also injury prone, but hopefully just a half hour he can handle that. So that's 4 of our subs used off the back of an injury, but still 4-0 up with a half hour left. And with around 20 minutes to go in this one, we do have a corner here which Trincao is going to put towards the far post. Hopefully he floats this one in. Saliba off the bench, whacks that one into the crossbar, but doesn't make its way over the line. Still 4-0 Arsenal. And with just under 15 minutes left in this one, still 4-0, very comfortable. So we'll make our last substitution. We'll bring on our third choice striker, Florenzano for Berea, off the back of a hat-trick. Might have earned himself a start in some bigger games off the back of that performance, but still 4-0 up with 10 minutes left. And near the inside injury time in this one, there is a late throw-in here for Barnsley, but we are going to make our way through to the semi-finals. There's no way they can grab 4 goals in these last 3 minutes, but Walters here makes his way inside the box, but that shot is off target, their best chance so far in this game, apart from that funny highlight that we did see first up, where we didn't see a lot of build-up. As you can see, they also picked up a lot of yellow cards, but overall, that was a very good performance, as you would expect, though, against the team from the Championship. Our backups do a good job, and we make our way through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup. The only concern, that injury to Charlie Patino, and here we can see how long he will be out for. 7 weeks to 3 months with a torn hamstring. That is not ideal, but thankfully we do have some depth in that position with both Pere and Sambi Lakonga, but a good performance there highlighted by that first half hat-trick to Berea does mean we are in the final 4 of the FA Cup off the back of a 4-0 win in the quarters over Barnsley. And we've gone forward a few days off the back of that win in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. So we are in the semis and have just had the draw for that, so we'll reveal that to you shortly. That will be one of the games coming up in tomorrow's episode, but there you can see the results from the other quarterfinals. Most of them did go as expected, apart from the fact that West Ham, who we did draw with first up today, lost on penalties at home to Brentford. So that is the team that we were definitely after in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, even though our fans would have preferred a North London derby for some reason, albeit to be fair, Tottenham are just outside the relegation zone, so it does kind of make sense. But we did not get Tottenham. We got one of those teams that the fans did not want us to play, but it's not Man City, which is also quite thankful. We will take on Brentford. That looks like a really good chance for us to make our way through to our second cup final for this season. So even if we don't come back and overtake Liverpool to win the Premier League, we might have a chance of still picking up 2 trophies this season with an FA Cup, as long as we get past Brentford, and we will take on one of Tottenham or Man City in the final if we can do that. So I feel like that's actually quite a kind draw for us in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, and we'll leave things there for today's episode. If you did enjoy it, that slightly frustrating result where we did drop points to West Ham in the Premier League, backed up with a win over Barnsley in the quarters of the FA Cup, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. We'll come back tomorrow. One of the games we'll come back for, definitely this FA Cup semi-final, but there's some decent Premier League games either side of that. I think the main one, first up, Man City away, that could be tricky. We did beat them away from home in a Carabao Cup semi-final earlier, back in January by 3-1. That was with a pretty strong team we did put out for that game though. Man City, also a strong team within the Premier League. That could be interesting, especially as our form of late has just been a little bit up and down. So I think we'll come back for that game in the Premier League. We also beat them at the Emirates earlier this season. Hopefully continue to get one over on Arsenal's former manager in Sergio Conceição, and then we'll take on Brentford from Wembley and hopefully book our place in the final of the FA Cup. So we'll come back for that. Also keep you guys updated on what does happen against both Leeds United and Everton in the Premier League as we try and close that gap on Liverpool on top of the table. But tomorrow, Man City in the Prem and Brentford in the FA Cup semi-final. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.